A warm welcome to Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to talk about the planet of intelligence, Mars. Mars, yes, we'll see how. But before that, a big thanks to all of you for liking, sharing and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your comments and suggestions there. If you haven't subscribed to us, do that. And do remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the updates ASAP. We generally do not look upon Mars as the planet of intelligence. But the classics have very clearly stated that it is the planet of intelligence. Mars is logical thinking, Mars is action, and Mars is strategies. So, when we take action with the energy that Mars is capable of giving us, with a strong logical background and strategic planning, we are able to use our energies well. And that is when people call us intelligent. Does any house represent intelligence? Yes. The 5th house of the chart represents intelligence. It is the house that processes your knowledge into a practical usage, just as Mars gives a form to your knowledge, your hard work in a very intelligent, logical manner. So, when Mars is as a karak of intelligence, aspecting or influencing the 5th house, the 5th lord, from the Lagna, then it can give a person good intelligence. When the same Mars is also aspecting the 5th house, the 5th lord, from the moon. And why the moon? Because moon is said to be the karak of the mind. What we perceive in the mind, and if this Mars is able to give it a very strong expression, then definitely such a person becomes very strong in being able to implement the function, the thought that one has into the right manner. And so, with that implementation comes a lot of appreciation from others in the form of saying that you are an intelligent person. Now, there are certain combinations that can give you a good amount of intelligence, and there are certain combinations that can make you a trickster also. Let's talk about this Mars and Mercury. What happens when Mars is aspecting this Mercury or has a connection with this Mercury? What does it do? Mercury is said to be the one that gives you ideas, and it's very nicely stated to be an academic planet. The one that has an aptitude of learning, the one that has an aptitude of ideas, and the one that can also give you a strong business sense. So, in this case, a person will have a strong business sense, and the implementation will differ or it will work out in the placement of this Mars and Mercury also. If it is placed in the trick houses, or rather if it is placed in not that good houses, not that favorable houses, and say like the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, then a person can actually be a trickster. A person can know how to do a lot of tricks on others, cause financial problems with others. When we talk about those financial problems, you see a lot of online frauds that are happening nowadays. That can be, those small online frauds can be due to this Mars and Mercury. But when we are talking of a huge level of fraud, when you are talking about a misunderstanding, a misconception, Rahu should be able to give its implication to this Mars. So, this Mars-Rahu combination in Akarak Bhavas which is influencing the 5th house, can really bring in problems for anybody in terms of causing them to be getting a lot of frauds or being involved in a number of frauds, or for that matter also this person can more dangerously do a lot of frauds on others. So this is the two combination that we can see. Now when the thief and the soldier both are said, or the general are all said to be influenced by Mars in Uttar Kalamrit, in across the classics, the thief will have an affliction in his chart as regards to Mars when it is aspecting or connecting with the 5th house, be it from Lagna or be it from the moon. Whereas the general, the soldier, the policeman who is supposed to think like the thief to be able to catch the thief and has to be much smarter, but has to be on the right side of the law, has to be under the influence of benefics. We will take a very different chart in this case and we will see how this person could have been a trickster but had the ability to catch tricksters. Let's go about checking this chart. In this chart, we see that Mars is placed in the 7th house with two malefics par excellence, that is Saturn and Rahu. So we can say, at the first go, all of us would say that yes, it is also sitting in the house of Mercury. It is also aspecting that Mercury with its 8th aspect. As for the Dhanu Lagna, with the chart is, Mars is sitting in the house of Gemini and aspecting Mercury in the 2nd house with its 8th aspect. Not only that, this Mars is again sitting in Punarvasu Nakshatra. I will tell you the entire story about it later. But when we are talking about Mars aspecting Rahu, Mars with Rahu, Mars aspecting Mercury, gives a person a deadly combination. Why so? Understand that Mars is the lord of the 5th house from the Lagna. Mars is also with the 5th lord from the moon, that is Saturn. Moon and Jupiter are placed in Libra and both are placed in Vishakha Nakshatra. So the person does not, as per Vishakha Nakshatra, does not in any way lacks dare, makes him a good policeman, a good thief, either which ways. But let's not forget, the person also has the influence of Gaj Kesari Yoga on that very Mars. Thus, and Rahu is moving out, that is, it is in Mriksara and it is moving. That is when the beauty of the nakshatras can be understood with the degrees. And it's moving out towards Taurus. So that person has a very strong moral ground to work on, and he has worked as an insurance agent, insurance surveyor, and been able to catch number of thieves, or should I say people who want that money but are trying to get it the wrong way. He has an excellent mind and is said to be one of the very intelligent people that in his circle. We see at the first glance we would be bound to say that this Mars can cause a lot of problems in the person. As a child, he could have been a very naughty child, could have been a very disruptive child. But as a person grows and the effect of the Gaj Kesari Yoga takes over that Mars, the person becomes valiant. All the features of that Mars are then coming into the forefront. The intelligence as the 5th lord, the intelligence as a person whose moon is associated with the 5th lord and Mars is also associated. We can very well then state that this Mars as a Karaka for intelligence and having effect both from the Lagna and from the moon makes him a very strong surveyor, a person who knows how to think like the crooks and get away and catch the crooks, make sure that they don't get away with all that they pose to do. Do look into the nakshatras, because nakshatras do give us a very vivid picture, because Mars here is sitting in Punarvasu nakshatra, meaning that there is a lot of love and affection and a need to stay on the right path. Till we meet with you again, stay safe. बेल आइकन को दबाएं ताकि आपको वीडियोस की अपडेट मिलती रहे। हमारे वीडियोस को लाइक करें, शेयर करें, उन पर कमेंट करें और हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना न भूलें।